man. How you? How's everything going over wherever you're at right now?
Everything is all right for the most part. Same grind, man. You know it don't stop.
Okay, so you're dropping a new project before the year's over, right?
Right, entitled Pesci.
Pesci. Why?
I mean, it's basically a alter ego thing. But if you're familiar with the the Goodfellas movie and any other movie that Joe Pesci portrayed a gangster in,
Yeah.
you'll know why. But more so of the Goodfellas character, Nicky
So,
Sanchoro.
so this is there is a side of you that's like that character.
Yeah,
You're not that scary.
so man.
You know what I should do? I'm gonna bash your face in, and right
Not
when
funny.
you're getting coming out of a coma,
Ain't
and
that
I'm
funny?
getting out of jail, I'm gonna bash your face in again.
What you mean I'm funny? Funny how? Yeah.
So when does that come out?
It's going to be out a week before New Year's.
Okay, that's good. So you're gonna
Exactly.
it's kind of like starting the new year off in a way.
Exactly. We're putting it out through ODG/Star Records, which
Oh,
is
nice.
a new partnership that I have right now. So
Congratulations on your new partnership.
no doubt, no doubt. Appreciate that.
So we're gonna get videos and everything.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Videos. We got a DVD um, about to drop also. So I mean, we're about to go all the way. I'm trying to gear up for next year, man.
Awesome. So guys, look out for that. Now we got to get to one other thing. So your past is kind of coming back.
Don't it always? At
It
some point.
does. It is annoying, right? The past
Right, right.
always creeps up. Even when you put things in the past and make good on everything and everything's moving in a positive direction, sometimes people try to drag things back, right?
Definitely, man.
I'll,
You know
I'll
how that goes.
introduce it if you want.
What happened?
I'll introduce it if you want.
I mean, you could do that.
So, if you guys are on the internet, like I'm sure most of you are, and I got to commend J Hood because last time this was brought up, he just let it go. He didn't care. This was a few years ago. This exact situation got brought up, and he kind of just let it go because it doesn't matter. It's in the past, right?
Right.
But it seems like it keeps getting brought up now. So I caught this. He caught it. I called him and I said, "Hey, you caught this? It's not a big deal, but it's like, why? So if you don't know, there's a guy named Bully that used to be part of D Block. He kind of came in a few years after Hood. He got signed to D Block. Um, and he did an interview with Queen's Flip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did an interview. And everything seemed good at first, and then somehow Hood got brought up, and he was saying, "Yeah, Hood, he wasn't ready. He never got dropped. He got like he had a whole discrepancy with the guys, and the whole reason his album never came out was because it wasn't ready to come out. And now I got to say, I was around during this time. If I've worked a lot with them in the past. I worked with Hood. We knew each other around that time a lot, so I kind of can attest to everything around that time. Even when Bully came in, I think I did Bully's first video, him and Snipe Life and all that. What was that thing called in Styles?
354 Entertainment.
Yeah, I think that was their first video
Yeah.
that I did. So, anyways, Bully just started talking about Hood, and what stuck out to you that because you saw it, what did he say that was like, er?
First and foremost, I just want to put this out here. I'm not even really fully with the whole idea of speaking about this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He spoke about me numerous times.
yeah.
Even throughout my whole ordeal that I was having with the big bros, and I just never decided to speak on him because like you said, it just wasn't important. And like, why?
Exactly.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like, and but like to his point, like Bully's a nice guy, so like it's not like a real issue. Hood's not like attacking. He's just like sometimes if you don't speak on something, a weird narrative gets put out there, you know, so you just got to like
Right.
address it, you know, that's all.
Exactly. So, and I mean, and with that being said, my whole thing is first and foremost, like, what possesses you to have to bring my name up in your interviews? You know what I mean? Like, I never brought your name up in anything because I didn't feel the need to. And if you're not going to speak factual information, why speak on anything at all? And don't portray like you have factual information when you don't. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that you're putting out there, you're following the same narrative that these guys was pushing. You know what I mean? And you're not doing anything but regurgitating information that one of those guys were, you know, putting out there. So you're not even saying anything that contains any truth.
Right.
That's my whole thing.
Like Hood had a, okay, like, let me bring you guys back because I can, as an outsider, that was someone that just worked with these guys, right? I can just tell you that when Hood came out, Jewels was coming out. They both had huge buzzes. So Hood could have dropped whatever around that time. He didn't have to be ready. I don't think Jewels was particularly ready when he dropped his first album, but he had a buzz. Just like Cameron was pushing Jewels, these guys were pushing you. Right?
I mean, and the issue is this, and it's still, I mean, it's just you can look at things from a different perspective now. I mean, I can at least because I'm a little bit older. Um, and this is no disrespect to the guys because I love the big bros and all that shit, but
Facts.
you know, I was just dealing with a group of guys that were new to being CEOs and you know business owners, and they never put an artist out before, so they had no real knowledge of or any real know how. So they just you know mismanaged the project. Man, I had you know singles that people were liking, taking a liking to, all up on me. That was bubbling. We also had a joint called Nobody. That was my joint. You know what I mean? I had a joint with DJ Premier. I had another joint called Do It Like This that was warming up. So we had numerous joints, man. I had a joint with Chingy after he sold 3 million records. You know what I mean? Like I had another joint with Lil Flip. Like I had joints with all kind of dudes on this album. You know what
Can
I
I
mean?
say
And
something? Can I say
right.
something real quick? Just so you know, like, to Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek's credit, they're not the only ones. A lot of artists, for some reason, this was a thing, a cool thing around them. They're like, that's my artist. So every rapper was trying to have an artist, and most of them dropped the ball because most people weren't ready. They were new to being CEOs, you know? Jim
Right.
Jones didn't put any artists out. Stack didn't come out. Max didn't come out, and that led to them having an issue. The only artists I could ever see, two artists I say from New York that put people on and put them out, 50 Cent and Cameron.
I mean,
Those are
Hove too. You can leave Hove out.
Hove, but that was like Dame. You know, Dame was really big. Hove was kind of focused on Hove. Jay-Z co-signed all those artists, right? Am I right? It kind of felt like that. It was like a team, more of a team effort.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the same thing though.
But Dame Dash wasn't an artist. He was straight CEO.
Yeah, I mean in that sense, yeah, I get you. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. I look at their situation a little different. Like Cameron was an artist signing an artist, you know, so it felt, you know, that's why I'm just comparing it to those two. And you know, you
Absolutely
had
right.
Jeezy later. You had Jeezy down south. He signed a bunch of artists. Nobody came out. You know, like this happens a lot, and I think it's just an artist underestimating how hard it is to be an artist. There's so much to do as an artist, and then to add the CEO position in with no full backing of a label taking over everything, it's
And I,
difficult.
and I just want to add one more thing in here just to debunk the ridiculous statement that he made about me not being ready. First and foremost, that was never the issue. I was more than ready. Anybody that's familiar with D Block, they know at that time I was hotter than fish grease, and that's
Yeah.
just stating facts. You know what I mean? Like, but let's just say, for instance, speaking hypothetically, if that was the case and they really felt that I wasn't ready, the average artist, if they are signed to another artist, they're usually signed to one artist. I had the liberty of signing to three artists. So
Yeah.
if they felt I wasn't ready, why don't you guys come together collectively and let me know what should be added to the project to complete it? You know what I mean? You guys are seasoned vets. So
Yeah.
that's why you should look at that and be like, that can't be the case. You know what I mean? So
You did a
that's
label switch too at one point, right? Like you and Sheik were on Universal, right?
right. It was on Universal Motown first, and then
Did
I was
they want to
actually
put you out? Did Universal Motown want to put you out?
this is the thing, right? And we could get into all of that. First and foremost, I wasn't just an artist. I wasn't like a artist that came aboard a situation after the situation was already established. We sat
Right.
down at the very beginning and elaborated on the idea of how to create this movement and what to call it and everything. And they, when I say they, I meant Sheik, because originally uh, it was me, Sheik, and my ex-manager at the time, which is Hit. We sat down and came up with the whole idea uh, of doing this movement.
Hmm.
And afterwards, SP and Kiss came aboard. You know what I mean? And the name
Yeah.
was created. Before the name was even created, we was running with Lox Entertainment. Because if you listen to one of
Yeah.
my first freestyles on, like, I don't know if it was Clue or not Clue, I meant to say like K Slay or somebody, I was shouting out Lox Entertainment. Then we came out with the name for D Block. So I helped create this shit
Hmm.
versus a nigga that just came aboard.
So you were a
After,
part of the creation with all of them, D Block,
yeah,
and you guys all did a great job. Uh, you know, marketing D Block. It's a stamp still to this day.
right. And
All everybody did a great job marketing it. You know.
and another my thing is this, not to take nothing away from anybody that was ever signed over there after, I left or whatever the case be.
Hmm.
A lot of talented guys was over there, but truth is truth, and I have to be honest. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or do anything like that, but you have to speak what needs to be spoken on. And the truth is, no one ever generated a bigger buzz over there than what I did when I was over there when we originally created this movement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just the facts.
Yeah. It was
So
exciting. It was exciting around that time. And then I have a question. So getting back to your album not coming out, did Universal Motown want to put you out?
yeah, that's the thing. Like you said, we got signed to two different deals. The first deal, both of those deals were structured the same way. The first one was to Universal Motown, which is to the people that don't know, it's a major label. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So the deal was structured for a Sheek Luch album and a J Hood album. It was like a package deal because
Hmm.
The whole D Block thing was popping. So they wanted the whole, the imprint. So
Yeah.
Sheek came out. He came out with the two guns up.
Okay.
He wasn't initially feeling the way that things were going and the way that they, was handling this project. So somehow he got up out that situation and he worked out a situation with Koch, which is an independent label. And if anybody knows about
Did
independent
he
label,
pull? Well, did he pull you with him?
that's what I was getting at right now.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
So okay, so I'm scheduled to come out on Universal. You know what I
Still.
mean? Yeah, still. So and being a new artist, you need to be on a major label because they will give you all the things that you need as far as like the marketing and all the other things that come with having that machine behind you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he went to go negotiate a situation with Koch, like I said, which is an independent label for the people that don't know how that works.
Yeah.
If you're an
E1. It's
artist,
called E1 now.
right? If you're an artist that
Yeah.
was already out, you know what I mean, and you already obtained notoriety and people know you, it could be a good situation. You know what I mean? Because you could be going independent versus going major. So what Sheik did, he went over there and worked out, a deal, and the deal was structured the same way as the Universal deal. So he came to me and told me, "Listen, Hud, we got a situation worked out with Koch. You could come over here with us, and you could get $3 off of each album, uh, versus you staying here and only getting 85 cents."
Right.
So at that time, it was like a no-brainer. I'm like, you know what, y'all the big bros, you ain't got to say it twice.
Sounded good.
If I could get out this situation, I'm out.
Yeah.
So they got me about that situation. I had got a $35,000 advance. Let me throw that out there. They
Okay.
gave me 35 grand, but the way that I got the 35 grand, I was like 17 at the time. So I got the 35 grand, and not only did I get the 35 grand, but I got an accountant that handled the 35 grand with me for me. Excuse me. He was
For
charging me like
real?
he was charging me like 850, 900 a month. You know
Wait.
what I mean? So
Wait. Why would you need an accountant for 35 grand?
listen, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. So
Whose advice was that?
and this was their account.
And he charged 900 a month?
Well, if it wasn't 900, it was like eight. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. Look, it's the same thing. $100 off, basically. Yeah, same thing. But check it out. The thing is this, and I wasn't allowed to take out. Like, let's say if I wanted to like take 20 out,
Yeah.
it would be a problem. You know what I mean? Like it would
Why?
hit me off. He'd be hitting me off in increments. Like, yo, you can only take 4 head, 5 head, 4,500 head. You know what I mean? So like spoon feeding me when I had ideas already of what to do with the money, but I'm being spoon fed. So being 17 and being spoon fed, I'm running through it. I'm fucking it up. You know what I mean? So I'm buying a little hoopty head. I'm buying a little half a pea head. You know what I mean? Trying to do shit to stay afloat. But what the fuck you gonna do if you already got shit planned out? What you gonna do with the money and you can't do it because you're getting hit off in increments. So to go back to the Koch thing, we left Universal.
Are you sure it cost you $800 a month for an accountant? You personally?
It came out of my funds.
Wait. The whole thing? So like all their charges came out of your funds?
Oh no, not their charges, my charges.
So $800 a month for him to hold 35 grand for you.
Facts.
That's the most expensive bank I've ever seen in my life.
It was some crazy shit like that. I might be off by a little bit, but it was something like that. You know what I mean? It's been a couple years.
You were paying this man like $11,000.
To hold 35,000, it makes absolutely no sense. I could manage that myself. You know what I mean? I don't need no account for 35.
It's pretty easy to do the taxes on 35 grand.
Yo, man. All right, so look, so now we go to Koch. The deal structured the same way. They wanted the same thing, a package deal with Sheek Luch album and J Hood album. Okay. We went over there, we signed that.
Because you trusted Sheek, you went over to E1.
Exactly.
As you should, because they were veterans in the game.
Right.
I would have trusted them at your age as well.
Exactly. I trusted them because
big bro, right?
They were big bros. I believe that they wouldn't point me.
Let's put this in there. I believe that Sheek had great intentions. Being independent was new. People like Core Mega and people like that were really pioneering the way, and then it was getting hot to go over there because Jim Jones was
right. Yeah, Jim Jones.
Diplomats and all of them were doing like independent deals with E1. So right. Sheek had good intentions that, hey, this is the new wave, you know, and so we're not downplaying it like, oh, this was a scheme.
It was wasn't able to completely execute the plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? So all right, so we went over there. As soon as we got there, what he told me was this. You know, they want me to drive first since I'm a more of a known artist and I've been out already. Me, in my mind, I'm going to keep it 100. I thought, like, yo, there's no way they told you that because I'm super hot right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not just saying that on no big head shit. I was just like seriously. Like, anything we could have threw out, they was copping that.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, yo, you know, I want to come out first. So I was a team player. I'm like, cool. You came out. And when each one of them went on tour, I went on tour with them individually. Mm-hmm. to build my momentum and build my buzz or whatever the case be. So after Sheek Luch dropped his album, I was scheduled to come out next. So what happened was, I got another advance from Koch this time.
How much?
Now this advance was $25,000.
Okay.
Right. So what happened with this now? We went to go sign a deal with Koch. See, I never told this what I'm about to tell you right now. So this is exclusive content.
Okay.
When we was going to sign the Koch, you know, so let me highlight that. So for y'all that didn't hear me, when we went to go sign the deal on Koch, meaning that I had to be present in order for the deal to be complete with Koch. My signature had to be on the paperwork for the distribution agreement. All right, so we went to the meeting. Their lawyers were there. Mm-hmm. I told them my lawyer was on his way. You know what I mean? Like he said, yo, I'm gonna be a little late, 20 to 30 minutes late. You know what I mean? Don't start without me. Yeah. I relayed the message to them. They're telling me like, yo, you know, everybody's signature is already on the paperwork or whatever. And I'm not trying to throw no dirt on them or paint them to be no type of way. I'm just telling the truth. They was like, listen, man, everybody's signature is on the contract already. We're just waiting on you to sign and the funds will be released. I'm like, cool. I'm waiting on my lawyer. They like, yo, man, you good, man. We ain't gonna tell you to sign no paperwork that ain't right. I'm like, man, he just said he'd be here in 20 minutes.
I have a question. Were their lawyers in the room?
Yeah, their lawyers was present.
Okay.
Excuse me, their lawyers were present. Yeah, so I'm telling them like, listen, he said 20 minutes. They're like, listen, man, all you gotta do is sign the paper and we can get the bread. You're the only one that we need. Like you holding the process up. Long story short, they pressured me into signing the joint. I'm young at the time. I signed it. My lawyer wasn't there.
Did you guys pop bottles like Bully did when he signed his deal?
Nah, it wasn't. I don't know about none of that, but
I remember.
I signed the paper. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Look, this is real shit though. I signed the paper. Each of us got a copy of the contractual agreement.
Yeah.
When we left the building, Sheek told me, "Yo, let me see that paper. You gonna fuck around and lose that shit." Me being young, I'm not like thinking about it like that. I gave it to him. You know what I mean? Because we was gonna be running around that whole day in the wet, running around the hall, and we had to go to the Bronx, all type of places. So he put it somewhere in his car, and I let him hold it. And to be honest with you, that was the last time I seen that paper. This is real shit. I never seen it after that.
Your lawyer didn't get a copy?
I mean, he got a copy further on down the line, but as far as like my original copy that he had, I'd never seen that.
Okay, I have a question. That just sounds funny, though. I can imagine Sheik in his backyard burning the contract. Like,
yeah, this shit is crazy, man.
But when your lawyer got the contract, what did he say?
I mean, he didn't say nothing. He okayed everything, and
So there was nothing wrong with the contract.
No.
Okay, so there's no big issue then.
Nah, he just took my original copy. You know what I mean?
It just felt a little.
I'm like, yeah. So now I'm waiting on my second advance. Normally when you sign a contract, you're waiting on an advance. You're not supposed to wait no longer than.
Wait, but you got it when you signed that. You got some money, right?
When I signed the contract agreement.
Yes.
You talking about on site? Like as soon as I did it?
Well, like how long did it take for you to get your first advance?
That's where I was getting to. Normally when you sign a contract, you're not supposed to wait no longer than like a week, 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
2 weeks.
Yeah, at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So after the 2 week time period, 3 weeks passed.
Okay.
And they're like, yo, listen, and I have to keep pointing this out. I'm not trying to make nobody look a certain way because you have people out here that are real narrow-minded, and they're trying to paint a narrative. I'm not trying to make nobody look bad. This is just my truth.
Right.
What I was told was SP borrowed $20,000, well, $20 or $25,000 out the D Block account. So they was like, you're gonna have to wait. Do us a favor, just wait until he put it back, and we'll give you advance. So obviously he took my advance for whatever purposes to use it for, and I had to wait for him to replace it to get my advance. So during the time when I was waiting for that, it just so happened that my house burned down.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so my house burned down while I'm waiting on the money. We lose everything.
Yes. So now you need the money.
Now I absolutely need the money.
Yeah.
So after that happened,
I have a question. Just for the timeline purposes, has Sheik dropped his album by the time that house burned down? Has Sheik dropped his first album on Koch?
Did he drop his album?
I think he did.
Yeah, he might have.
Because I remember we were at a video shoot and everything was cool then. You hadn't lost your house yet. I remember things got a little weird when your house burned down.
Right.
I remember that.
Happened, and then like 3 weeks later or something like that, I end up, getting my advance. But it took for that to happen for me to get my funds. So as soon as I got that money, I had to pay for my mother's hotel bills. I got us a new apartment.
How much was the? Okay, so I have a question. When your house burned down, who was paying for the hotel you guys were in?
To be honest with you, I think it was like some family and Red Cross and shit like that.
So it wasn't. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying they had to. We're not saying that Sheik and them were supposed to, because
nobody put together a package and was like, "Yo, let's do this," or nothing like that. It was nothing.
Did they offer for you to stay with them if you needed to get away from your family or anything?
Absolutely not. A friend offered me that, and I stayed with a friend for a while.
And I'm not saying that Sheik, Jadakiss, and Southby had to do that. They didn't. They're not. That's not part of being a CEO. So
Right.
Yeah. But I just wanted to like let everybody know where your mindset was at.
Right. So during that time, like that happened, and like I said, I felt kind of a certain way that nobody tried to offer me anything, and it was three guys. You know what I mean? But whatever. I was the ultimate team player. I didn't take that no type of way.
Yeah.
But now it's time for my. Actually, I think this was during the time period when it was time for my album to come out, because a little bit after that, I went down to the label because I started feeling a certain way anyway. I felt the energy was off, and I felt
Can
like,
I do a timeout real quick before we get to that? I want to note that in the meantime, to stay hot, J Hood's on Smack DVD, the Come Up DVD, any other DVD, saying, and they ask, yo, when's the album coming out? And he keeps giving a date that he's told the album's coming out. So after a while, he starts to look bad because he keeps missing these dates.
right.
And he's letting the fans keep asking him, hey, when's the album coming out? At one point, he just had to say, I don't even know when my album's coming out.
Hey, yo, tell from the hood, drop it soon.
I remember that. And I was like, after we'd cut, I'd be like, yo, are you sure?
When the fuck is soon?
Yeah, exactly.
Real for real.
By this point, I think Joel's was on his second album.
Hey, yo, look, man, Joel's dropped. I'm gonna tell you, look, it's gonna be funny the way I'm gonna put it, but it's 1,000 though. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I felt like those guys wasn't putting the same type of energy forth for my project that they were with Luch's project, and I felt like Luch wasn't handling mine the same way that he handled his, meaning that he wasn't going to the label regularly checking on them to make sure they on their job as far as for my project or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Let me just go down here to Koch and see what's going on. This wasn't something that I did normally, so I'm like, let me just check it out. Me and my homie, we went down there and we sat down with Alan Grumpler, who was the general manager at Koch.
Okay.
So he was like, what up, hood? I'm like, ain't nothing, what's going on? He's like, everything's cool with you? I'm like, yeah, everything's all right, man. I heard the house burned down. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Listen, man, I really just hope that what we was able to give you, helped out a bit. And, I'm like, what you mean? He's like, the guys came down here and told us that your house burned down and you needed a little help, you know what I mean, to get on your feet. So we cut them a $60,000 check to give to you. So
I forgot. Yo, we haven't talked about this in a while. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so now I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, what? So he looking at me like,
okay, so guys, just to catch you guys up. So he not only did he not get his $25,000 check, right? Did you get that? They paid you that though. At this point, had they paid you?
I got that after the house burned down.
Okay, yeah. So at this point, Styles P had replaced the money he borrowed, gave it to Hood, so he was able to pay down his large hotel bills and get his family situated into an apartment.
New furniture. I got a little car.
So that 20 grand is, as you know, gone. You got to replace your whole life.
Facts.
Okay, so now he's at Koch and he realizes not only did they get that, so that 20 grand, he already owes that. They got another 60 grand from Koch from his budget to give him to get him back on his feet. But he never got the check.
And we have to break this down because over time I realize it's people that don't know how this music thing works. When you're signed,
it's always hard to forget, and people always forget that there was a second check cut and you didn't get it.
Right. It's like this. When you're signed to a label,
yes,
and you have a distribution agreement with the mother label, the label that you're signed to, they have the right to sign not your name but sign on behalf of you if you're signed to them. So the people that's asking, there was no way they could have got his check and not gave it to him. Yeah, they could have, because the check was signed to that company on behalf of me. So whoever's in charge of that company can endorse it and take it or whatever the case be. And that's what happened. So as soon as I found out about that, obviously I felt a certain way. You know what I mean? And that's when everything started going downhill.
Did you make any money off the D Block DVD that we did?
No.
Okay, I was just curious.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. See, this guy is out here.
Wait, I got to put that in perspective too. Wait, you know what came out before? You know what came out faster than J Hood's album? A D Block DVD that I did. With
fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. Luckily, I got paid from that. So, thank you.
And this is the thing, man. And this is not throwing shots at homeboy or none of that. They were saying my name or none of that type of shit. Because like I said, I'm not gonna take the same approach as he did and try to speak on him just to act like I know information about him, try to make myself look a certain way because I really don't have. Well, I have information on him, but
Who we talking
no
about,
disrespect
Bully?
to him. Yeah, no disrespect to him, but he's not important enough for me to be speaking on like that. But I tell you this, he's saying that they owe him money for doing songs and all that other type of shit like that. Listen here. I did way more songs than him. I was on way
On
more shit
major
than him.
labels,
Yeah,
right?
major label. So if he's saying they owe him that, imagine what I'm owed. You know what I mean? I could, and this is not shitting on nobody. This is just me being honest. Lick shots on Styles P album. I never got paid for that. The Rough Rider compilation shit with Cash and all them. I never got paid for that. The second one I got on with them, never got paid for that. The Sheek Luch album, the Divine joint, uh, the, every song you heard me with them niggas as far as albums goes, I never got paid for none of them shit.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's get okay. So we're back here. We got the 60,000. You realize this $60,000 check got cut. What did you do after you left Koch?
Um, I left Koch. I talked about it with my homie. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I can't believe this. We got back to the town. And what ended up happening? Like I said, everything went downhill after that, man.
Did you talk to Styles or Sheek or Jadakiss?
I think I tried to. I made an attempt to talk to Sheik. I think I went to the hood with a couple of my dudes from the Bronx and shit. Not on no static shit, just to go over there. I went over there with a DVD guy.
Uh-huh.
You know about the parking lot. The parking lot is like super big. It's different sections
Oh
of it.
yeah, that's where everybody hangs out in Yonkers.
Yeah, so they're on one section of the parking lot, and we're like literally probably like 70 feet away. So we
Yeah.
pull up, park. I'm smoking the clip. Got a little drink. We trying to finish the clip. But we got the DVD guy. He jumped out the whip with us. So obviously you know it's me. Clearly.
Yeah.
The guy with the D block chain on short, they know it's me, man. The camera over there and all that. So
Yeah.
everybody else is over there on the other side of the parking lot, like 25 deep. Everybody looking like, yo, what's going on? Who that?
Yeah.
So my homie's like, yo, why they over there looking like that? They don't know it's you. I'm like, I don't know, bro. We finished the clip. And bear in mind, I didn't walk all the way over there and acknowledge them until after I finished. I'm like, let me finish this clip, then we go over there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not thinking there's nothing. Finish the clip.
Oh yeah. Is this when you had the red Caprice too? That Bully talks about?
This is probably a little bit after that.
Okay.
So we walking towards them now, and everybody's looking like they're on defense type shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Do they know you know about this $60,000 check at this point?
I don't think they do.
So they're just being weird to you.
Yeah, they just being weird. I just feel a weird vibe. So I'm looking at shit. But at the time, like I said, after that, it's different shit that was taking place. Like I would me and Sheik would go through like little shit, and I wouldn't talk to him probably for like a week, 2 weeks, like know what I mean, and different little shit like that. So during this time, that was one of them little time periods. So I was seeing Sheik, and as I was walking, everybody looking at me funny and all this other shit. So my homies noticed it. They like, yo, why them niggas acting like that? What's up, nigga? I'm like, nah, everything all good, man. So as we getting closer, I don't know if it was a guy that be over there, one of the big homies named Chep. He like, oh shit, Hood, what up? And then Hit ended up coming to me. He like, damn, why you ain't say that was you, Hood? Niggas looking at this shit over here. I'm like, nigga, what you mean? Why I ain't say that was me? Like, y'all know it's me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, why y'all looking like that? So I see the funny vibes, and I see Luch, hanging over the car. And somebody said to him, like, damn, Luch is like that with y'all? And he was like, I guess so. You know what I mean? And it was just a funny vibe. So I was like, you know what, man? We up out of here. You know what I mean? So we end up leaving.
Yeah.
I tried to go to the D Block studio later on that night to talk to him. I went over there calling Luch phone. Everybody was over there, bullying all them over there. Nobody answered the door. You know what I'm saying? So after that, everything was just like, it was never the same. You know what I mean?
So, but
I'm gonna tell you some crazy shit. Matter of fact, every brother had fights. I want to put that out there, right? If you have a brother, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a younger brother, you didn't have to fight with your older brother. My only mistake was making our fight public. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but like, why did you guys have a fight after that? Why was there no conversation?
Everything, it was just a funny vibe. Everything just got funny, man. One day we had a meeting inside the studio, and me and Sheik was about to fight. You know what I mean? Because
over what?
We was having a conversation about like people coming out and who is considered my competition and all this other type of shit. And blah blah blah. So I was like, yo, listen, we were speaking about all the youngins at the time. He said something about Joel's being my competition. I'm like, Joel's ain't my competition. He your competition because he's a vice president over there. I'm just an artist over here.
Yeah.
So how could I be his executive position? He has an executive position over there. So his response was, "That's just a title." Da 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 da, and all this other shit, and you know what I mean? Like you don't know what that man is getting. I said, I know he getting more than I'm getting. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then
At
I'm
that
like,
point, Joel's wasn't your competition anymore because he was getting paid.
right. I'm like, listen, you guys
Yeah.
want me to compete with guys that are clearly in a different category as me financially, but I don't care about that because lyrically, I'm coming at whoever. But as far as like being realistic about shit, I'm like, this isn't my competition. He's yours, and he didn't take a liking to that too well. So he said something, and I was just like, man, yo, whatever, Luch. He like, what you mean, whatever? I'm like, I'm looking at him like, you serious? I'm like, what you mean, whatever? He like, what you mean, whatever? I'm like, what you mean, what I mean, whatever? He like, what you mean, whatever? I'm like, I'm looking around in the meeting. It's me, Super Mario, SP, my former manager, Hit, and I forgot who else was there, but I'm looking at everybody because I'm thinking, I'm like, was he serious? So everybody just looking with their head down and shit. I'm like, yo, man, how does y'all lie? I'm like, yo, whatever, Luch. I ain't gonna lie, whatever, man. What you mean, whatever, man? What you want to do? I'm lucky. Like, you saying whatever, like you want to fight or some shit. Like, what you want to do? I'm like, nigga, I'm looking at these niggas. I'm like, yo, man, y'all hear this nigga? Ain't nobody saying. I'm like, yo, sit here and let this nigga come at me like that, man. Nobody said nothing. So I got up and I act like I was about to walk out the room because I was about to walk out the room. And then, like, I think P or Super Mario just grabbed me like, yo, hood, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Just chill, bro. Just sit down, my nigga. Let's just finish having the meeting. And I finished having the meeting. And
that sounds like a Super Mario move. He would deny. He would have said that. Yeah.
It was never the same after that.
Yeah, but like, so at this point, you still hadn't brought up with anybody that I know that there was a $60,000 check cut.
Nah.
I wonder why you never brought that up.
I don't know why. Like, don't get me wrong. Like a lot of the time is like a little off, but I didn't get to speak to them about that because I think, to be honest with you, it was at some point, like a little bit after that, I ended up going like overseas or some shit, and like I said, shit was just never the same. You know what I mean? Like, and I forgot why I didn't mention it to him, but until after the case.
Do you feel like because you didn't address that, it made something build up inside of you, keeping it inside, and maybe you gave off a vibe, like it's possible, right? Because you weren't addressing something that was bothering you. I'm not giving anyone an excuse. I'm just saying I remember that was your angry point, where things kind of switched, and we'll get into like, you dragged the D block. You were just doing things that were out of character.
Yeah, because what people have to understand, right, is this. I was in a situation where I was the only male in the house. I was living with my mother at the time and my two younger sisters. One has autism and my mother had just B liver disease and shit. So I was the only one bringing in money in the house. I had to support everyone. So at this time, you guys are fucking with my well-being. You know what I mean? Like I can't get the money that I possibly could be getting because you're not putting me in the right position to be able to receive or obtain that type of money. So it was just a lot of different shit.
A lot of anger was building up inside of you, and looking, hindsight is 2020. Looking later, you being young then, do you think that you were trying to be the man of the house still and just not deal with certain things, and that's why you didn't? Why didn't you deal with it with them? That 60 grand. Why do you think now? Let's just
to be honest with you, man. Like one, I just felt like if they didn't bring it up, it's evidently they was trying to be secretive about it. You know what I mean?
So in your mind, you were formed instead of.
I had also found out that my budget had been cracked before I even had any knowledge of it being cracked. Because to my knowledge, the budget wasn't touched at the time. I had like a $175,000 to $200,000 budget.
Yeah,
something like that, and I didn't think it was touched because I didn't get a video yet. We didn't, do anything like that to promote the album. So when they told me it was cracked, I'm like, how? When?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Like I didn't address any of that because, like I said, I felt like, okay, these guys are clearly keeping it secret, and Like whatever, I have no power over here anyway. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just keeping it in because they say never tell all of what you know. You know what I mean? And I had that type of mentality at the time, and I'm
Okay.
young, and right now I look at it like, you know what? I'm older. I should have spoke on it. I should have been vocal about it. There's a lot of shit that I did that I would have did differently now that I'm, a little bit older and I view things a little different. But at that time, I could say now I was a little immature. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I was hot headed. Um, I mean, I was young, man.
Yeah, and this all goes back circle to it wasn't fair, I think, for Bully to bring that up because he was bringing up you dragging the chain and everything, and he knows now what was going on then because everything's been spoken about up to this point, and you've made good with Styles, Sheek, and Jadakiss. You've talked to them, and you guys have hashed everything out. For
Yeah,
Bully to bring that up, and then I must say, okay, and this is not like a Bully bashing session. It's just that he said so much in that little thing there that has to be addressed because a new narrative gets started and you have to kind of like patch that up. So he went on in his interview to have the same gripes that he was teasing, making fun of that J Hood had in the beginning. Like, why didn't J Hood come? Oh, because he was misspending his budget. Did you misspend your budget getting the Caprice? He talked about you were blowing money on Caprices and the jeans. What about the red monkey
listen,
jeans, right?
listen here, check this out, man. I owned about 5 pair of red monkey jeans. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It was like $600 at the time a piece.
right.
Um, I bought a Caprice.
Uh-huh.
I bought a used Caprice. You know
Right.
what I mean? An old Caprice, like a 19 goddamn 90 Caprice or
How
some shit.
much was it? How much was it?
It was like 4 grand.
So you bought a hoopty to
Yeah, I
get
bought
around.
a hoop.
To get around.
Exactly. I bought a hoop. You know what I
And
mean?
you had to buy the jeans because back then people were criticizing what you were wearing. Have
Exactly.
so he was trying to keep up, but
I,
not with
I
no
had to,
budget.
I had to make myself look good for the behalf of the company. You know what I
For
mean?
DVDs and everything, he was always doing videos.
Yeah, you look at D Block, you gotta when you look at me,
Yeah.
you're gonna look at me as a representation of D Block. So I had to be I.
Because think
So
about it, guys. What would Jay Hood say he has on what he has on now, and you saw him on every DVD for 6 months wearing that same outfit? You'd be like, "Yo, he's a bum."
that's a fact.
Yeah. So you have to dress.
So to get at what he was saying though, to debunk that, he was saying shit like that and also shit like yo, he spent his money on like spending like 2 months at the W hotel, like all kind of crazy shit he was making up. But this is the thing. This guy wasn't doing nothing but regurgitating what he heard Luke say in prior interviews because Luke was painting a narrative at the time to make me look a certain way. So he was doing nothing but repeating exactly what was being said, which wasn't even factual.
Right.
So, and how the hell do you know all of these ins and outs of my business? Like, how do you know all of this? You wasn't even around me. I wasn't
Yeah.
around you or any of that type of
I
shit.
can attest to that because I was around these guys in and out a lot, like, doing work with them on DVDs and stuff. And Bully used to be Sheik's gym partner before he was really rapping with D Block. He was really 354 Entertainment, something separate with Snipe, right?
Right.
Him and Snipe were a team. I remember I did their video separate, some other video, 354 video. I think it was called 354, if you can look it
Yeah.
up. And I remember he was always with Sheik. And Bully's a nice guy, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like say Bully's a piece of, he's just, I don't know, I didn't see a lot of anger in his video or anything, but he's a good guy. He's funny, he's fine. But it's like I remember him being Sheik's workout partner, and then they started to when they were phasing you out. Remember you were having your problems. Then he started to become a rapper on D Block, and he was on the D Block DVD. So
I
it
mean,
was kind of
but to his defense, he been rapping though. You know what I mean? Like
right.
he always was rapping. See, like I have to readdress this with you guys. Like, unless you just know, I'm originally from North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like, I moved to New York when I was 13. I met
Okay.
these guys around the time when I was like 14. So he been living around these guys his whole life. They knew about him rapping forever. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I really think and I feel like, he always felt kind of a certain way about me because I came from out of town and they embraced me. You know what I mean? And I end up being the first person that they
And
put
that's
out.
and that's understandable.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
But But as far as like all the shit that he was saying, like, nah, man, it's not. You're not even telling the truth, and I still don't understand why you choose to speak
Well,
about me.
let's just be honest. He was going by hearsay and not really knowing everything, you know. So let's
Right.
give him the benefit of the doubt, but it did have to get cleared up.
I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. He can't even get that with me because this.
Yeah.
I have no problems with him, but I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt because this is I see this as a constant
An
characteristic.
attack. Yeah, an attack.
You
Yeah.
want to bring my name up in every interview you do. You know what I mean? Just for shock value purposes. When I never said nothing about you, man. So I don't understand why you insist to keep on speaking about me. Like, I don't know.
If anything, he should be sympathetic to it because he went through, he did features with them, never got paid for it. He signed a deal with them, never had an album come out. Gripe was they never paid for his lawyer, and then they called him a snitch. Right?
Ain't nothing like that ever happened to me while I was over there.
Right. But I'm just saying that he has his own gripes. So
Yeah.
he should be sympathetic to Jay Hood's own personal issues with them. Like, these guys make me not the best CEOs, you know, like nothing against them because they're great rappers. Jadakiss is amazing. Styles P is amazing. Sheek's amazing rappers.
Right,
and
right.
they're good guys.
They are who they are. They're legendary. Everybody know they're legendary. We will never try to dispute that or take anything away from them because they are who they are.
We're both grateful for working with them. I have nothing bad to say about them because, you know, I was a contractor. I wasn't in D Block, you know, so like.
This is the thing also. This might be a possibility. He may feel a certain way that I didn't come to his defense or I didn't agree with him or even take it upon myself to speak and say anything about the last interview that he had with the with who was that, Doggy Diamonds, and they was talking about that shit, and he was saying that J Hood was right and all that other type of shit. Maybe he thought I was gonna speak up and be like something, and I just because it's not my business, man. You know what I mean? When I was going through my shit, you took it upon yourself to try to throw stones and try to bury me with lies and shit. So I didn't feel that it was important for me to speak on, so I didn't. And I'm still not on no fuck the Lox campaign. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon or nothing like that.
I mean, I know you're good with them. I mean, I have no problems. So I'm just trying to I just wanted you to be able to clear up. You know, me and you talked, and we wanted to clear this up. But everything's good with Jay.
That's what he's on. I'm not on that. I'm not jumping on that. Yeah. You can't convince me to jump on that. That's not what type of time we're on.
So for the record, as far as you know, you and Jadakiss are good. You and Styles are good. And you and Sheek are good.
Yeah, we're good, man.
You have you moved on, and you guys pieced it out as brothers. So you guys are. You support them from afar, and they support you from afar.
Facts.
Yeah, and you're always open to talk to them whenever, right?
That's a super fact, man. They tell me to come by the lab whenever I feel like it.
I mean, that's like your family in a way. Like, those are your brothers for real, almost. Like, it felt like that with you, right?
That's why shit hurt the way it did. You know what I mean? And I handled things the way that I handled them at the time, even though it wasn't the proper way to do it. Like that. A lot of that was frustration. It was hurt. It was the feeling of me feeling like I was betrayed. You know what I mean? Like with a lot of those mixed emotions, if you're dealing with those type of emotions at a young age, you're not going to know how to articulate yourself in a proper manner. You know what I mean? About the things that you want to speak about. So instead of me, you know, taking another approach, I lashed out. You know what I mean? And
you know what I feel like? I feel like you guys resolve things, but you guys really all still need to sit down because everybody had their own faults in this. Everybody did, you know, and you guys really just need to sit around as brothers and just say sorry and just talk about it and really move on. Like really still it might never be the same, but you guys should still have that brotherly love with each other still, you know? It seems like that's still broken a little bit, but I know you still love them and I'm sure they still love you, you know?
Yeah, the thing is, man, people. I mean, to this day, it's ridiculous, man. You still got people that hold the chain dragging thing against me. You know, you got people that still talk about the disloyal thing. You got.
Why did you drag the chain? Why did you drag the chain?
Okay, let me clear.
Why did you drag the D Block chain?
All right, so let me clear up the misconception that people have about me. As far as why I drug the chain, and also let me clear up the unfactual statement that he made about me being upset the fact that they didn't drop my album. That's far from the truth. I had got over that a while, even before anything was taking place. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't even why I was mad. I was more so upset at the fact that they wouldn't let me out of my contract. You know what I mean? Like that was what the whole lashing out was about. That was why I drug the chain and all that type of shit. I asked to be released.
Were you trying to hurt them by dragging the chain? Like you felt you were hurt?
At the time, I felt that way. I'm like, you know what, man, listen, I have to do, like, at that time I was reading The Art of War. You know what I mean? Okay. And it said when you go at your enemy, crush your enemy totally. You know what I mean? So I was taking different label meetings. I took like 4 or 5 different meetings, but the biggest meeting that stood out to everybody and that contained the most shock value
50 Cent.
Because that was a quote unquote arch nemesis. So I'm like, you know what? I had no real intentions on signing with him. You know what I mean? But I'm like, you know what? If I take this meeting with him, this is going to be a gut shot to them.
Yeah, because they were having a beef with 50 Cent at the time.
Yeah, so at that time, I felt like that was the right thing to do. I'm like, you know what? They're keeping me from doing certain things or being in certain places. So
Can I say something? It wasn't just you. Remember, it was okay. So it was you that did that at that time. Remy had a beef with Fat Joe at the time, and Fat Joe had a beef with 50. So Remy did a meeting with 50, and then also Max B did a meeting with 50 because he was going through it with Jim, and Jim and 50 were kind of cool, but not really at that time.
Yeah.
So just get back.
All right, so,
yeah.
So I took that meeting with Fifth, like I said, strictly for shock value purposes. That happened. I'm like, that's a gut shot to them. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna feel a certain way. So I'm like, you know what? They made me feel a certain way, so they're gonna feel that. You know what I mean? So I did that, and a little after that, I heard that he was having a concert at Jimmy's in the Bronx. And I was hanging out at the Bronx real frequently. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna pull up to that joint. I think I hit Yayo or something like that. I'm like, yo, I'm pulling up to the joint. He's like, all right, bet, pull up. I'm gonna tell Fifth. So during the time when I dragged the chain, I was on my way to the concert. And initially, I didn't even intend on dragging the chain. It was a rumor going around that Sheek had took that chain. So that's why I pulled it out on video and was like, this chain? Somebody was like, hey, we heard Sheek took that chain. I'm like, this chain right here? I showed it. And everything was just more so on impulse, man. My man was like, man, we walked that joint. As soon as he said that, I just started walking it. You know what I mean? I didn't even think twice about it.
Did you buy this chain? You bought this chain with your own money?
Definitely. I had to save up. I bought it to make the company look good. You know what I mean? Like I said, because I was a team player. So like I said, I didn't think about what I was doing. I drugged the chain. And to be quite honest with you, and this is me being 1,000, that footage was never even supposed to be released. I told homeboy that was taping this shit, I'm like, yo, listen, don't even put that out until I give you the green light. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next thing I know, the video hit the internet and it's going crazy. You know what I mean? And he gives me, I call him up, I'm like, yo, what's going on, my nigga? Why you dropped that? He like, yo, I ain't even put it out, man. My cousin put it out. I'm like,
does this guy still do DVDs?
Nah, but
or he still does anything?
I don't know what he does. He be running around in the streets and shit, but that right there is like saying my dog ate my homework or some shit.
Yo,
like,
that was a thirsty move. Did he put his tag on it?
Facts.
So, okay, so mind you guys, he brought it home, edited it, even when Hood said that, and somehow it got on the internet.
I'm not trying to justify it or nothing like that, but it really wasn't supposed to come out. But when it did, it's like you can't turn back now. It's lit. You know what I mean? So you gotta go. You know what I mean? So that came out, and then I started doing the disc videos, the gun video with me with mad people with hammers in the back. There was a lot of stupid shit being done.
Those were funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but them shits was wild stupid. I shouldn't have did the shit, and
that's why it was funny.
Yeah, looking back at it, like, man, all that shit was corny. The shit was like,
yo, I'm gonna tell you guys, and at this time, I'm in the middle of this beef because I'm still friends with him and I'm friends with them. So I'm at D-Block Studio, then I might go see him, and I'm just in the middle, awkward. And I remember I was in the car with Sheek one day, and he's like, and he just pulled up at J Hood's house, and he was like, sometimes I just come over here and just have my breakfast and be like, yo, Hood.
That man was lying.
And I was like, this is uncomfortable, man.
That man was
But
lying. Man.
so this beef wasn't real because at any time he could have gone to D Block Studio or they could have gone to his
Yeah,
crib. That
like
never
right down.
happened.
Yeah, facts.
So it
It's
was
like,
really a brotherly problem.
yeah, man. He came to my crib and came to my block on a dead day when nobody was there, when my mother wasn't even at home, when I
But it was
wasn't at home.
hilarious. But Hood, it was hilarious.
Yeah, I bet.
I
I
was
bet.
amused. I was amused. I tried to tell him, I don't know if you should do this, bro, but he was adamant in doing it. And I was like, these guys are like real brothers. Like they really are just taking pot shots at each other. Like,
It
like
was sick, man. Like it was just a bunch of crazy shit going on. I don't know. Like all that shit was uncalled for. And I can just look at it now and just laugh and be like, yo, I did some wild shit, man. That shit was crazy.
I mean, you could apologize for the stuff you did, right?
Yeah, well, I actually did. I
Yeah.
apologize to each one of them individually. But yeah, man, it's like
But we're still wondering, where is that $60,000?
I have no clue. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's long gone now, but
No, I know.
you know,
Super Mario is like,
man, it's a lot of shit that people don't know. They just automatically assume.
no, we're just joking about that. I mean, it's like that's one of
Yeah,
the. It's funny though.
definitely.
Yo, these hip hop stories are crazy.
That's why it's so much shit that people just don't know, man. Y'all guys, man. Ah, man.
It's complicated being any artist coming up in this. Like, there's so many things that happen. That things happen to them. They were signed to Puff, wearing
Yeah.
shiny suits. Then they were on Rough Riders. Like, they have crazy stories.
Don't get it fucked up either though. We had more good times than we had bad times, but it just so happened that the bad times overshadowed the good times because people have a tendency of gravitating towards negativity. You
And
know what I mean?
they were documented. Back when they had their problems, there weren't that many cameras.
Right.
Things weren't documented.
Check it out though, JT.
What's up?
To keep it real, I was one of the first artists of the new millennium to do some crazy shit and go viral on the net like that.
That's true.
I mean, not saying that it was cool or nothing like that, but like real shit though. You know what I mean? Like you seen the Dragon and Chain motherfuckers like, what the fuck? It's good, wild.
That was the talk of the town for a minute because he was like, that was disrespectful.
Facts.
That time it was just super.
It was. Now I could say it was, man. It was like ultra disrespectful. Like yo, like 'cause now if somebody did that to me,
that's when I knew you lost your mind. I was like, okay, he's there.
Yeah, if somebody did that to me, like me being the age that I am now, I'll be like, yo, it's a little disrespectful bastard. And I admitted that. I'm like, you know what? And actually on my new album, I touched on it. I'm like, you know what? Disrespectful, yeah, but disloyal was something that I never was. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was disrespectful though. Disloyal, absolutely not.
Well, meeting with 50 was a little disloyal.
That wasn't disloyal because I did it with a reason.
But they looked at it as disloyal.
Hey, you must never read 48 Laws of Power and you don't know how to play.
No, I understand. No, I understand. I'm just saying, if I was in their shoes, I would look at you like, oh, it's almost like, it's just crazy.
I it like, yo, we playing chess and he just motherfucking checkmated me real fast. What my next move gonna be? You know what I mean? That's how I would have looked at it.
I'm not saying you're disloyal. I'm saying they perceived it as disloyal. You were doing it to sting them because they hurt you and you wanted to hurt them back.
And it was easier for them to push that narrative because the average person not going to look at it and break it down. You know what I mean? In the way that
I knew you, so I knew what you were doing. And me and you talked about it like off camera. We would talk, like, why'd you do that? And you'd be like, well,
But let me tell you some real shit, right? And to be real with you, like a lot of shit that I started hearing about myself during that whole time period, I never heard before I left these guys. Like all types of rumors started surfacing, all type of crazy shit. I heard every single thing under the sun that you could possibly hear. I heard I got robbed, stripped butt naked in the Bronx, all kinds of shit. I'm like, where the fuck is it coming from? I'm like, these motherfuckers. Y'all motherfuckers will believe anything. Y'all so upset at me for leaving these motherfuckers that you will believe anything that was said about me to make me look bad. You know what I mean? We're living in a viral age. If something like that was to ever take place, Best
It would be
believe somebody
documented.
had the camera phone out and they would have been taping a nigga to try to destroy a nigga and assassinate my character. But that never happened.
No, it's true. Hey, everybody goes through it. Even Cameron and Joel's went through it. Jim Jones and Cameron went through it. You know, people go through it.
Right, right. But
But
I
people
do.
come back together.
What I will say is this though, I'm totally, appreciative to the bros for giving me an opportunity to be heard. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing that I could never take away from them. I always put that out there. They gave me an opportunity to be heard on a massive, level. And I am, somewhat them. I still look at myself as being like all three of them mixed into one, mixed up with my favorite rapper, which is Pac. That's how I like
Yeah.
somewhat created my style. And, I always take my hat off to them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless.
Absolutely. Now let's get to the next topic. So, have you seen this? I wanted to get your opinion on this. So, have you seen this Alpo doc that came out? Like the trailer?
I've seen like little snippets of it. Yeah.
Well, there's only a snippet out right now. So the Alpo doc, trailer, he's describing what he did to Rich Porter.
Right.
In detail and showing where the body was and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I think he's a slimy individual, man.
Okay.
Slimy in every aspect. You know what I mean? Slimy because he killed this man over some shorts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not even looking at the whole situation in its totality about the little brother and why he was doing what he was doing.
Right.
First of all, you killed your man over money. That makes you slimy. Second of all, telling on everybody to try to shorten your sentence to get a less of a, of a jail time. That's slimy within itself too. So all the way around the board, he's a slimy guy.
Why do you feel like Alpo is such a polarizing figure?
Because people are so fascinated with the whole idea of being a big time drug dealer. And they're fascinated with the whole lifestyle that people lived in the 80s and, the fact that he was touching, supposedly millions and, you know what I mean, moving this amount of keys and, and people just, that shit does something to them.
There's one thing that's a fact about Alpo though. He's
What's
really
that?
about that life.
Which life you talking about? Snitching or killing?
Killing.
Yeah, he killed the motherfuckers. He snitched on a lot of motherfuckers too. I mean, you can't be a snitch and a killer.
That guy has many bodies.
But how you gonna be a snitch and a killer though?
Well, I don't know.
Can't be both, man.
Yeah, you can. Most people are. What do you do?
Yeah, you can.
A lot of people in the mafia were.
But yeah, everybody in the mafia, the motherfuckers, everybody rapping.
Yo, people don't think about that. The mafia, which was really, really against telling. That's where it all comes from. Telling. You don't do that, right? Most of them did it.
Facts.
Sammy the Bull got what? 2 years for 40 bodies?
You told everybody, man.
Yeah. And he tries to justify it in new interviews. I saw one recently. But Alpo's polarizing. He has an Instagram now and everything, and
that shit crazy. I mean, but look at it. Like
I don't want no smoke with Alpo. He's too much about that life.
Yeah, it's whatever. But listen, man, it's just incredible the era that we're existing in. You know what I mean? Like people, this generation of people have no moral values. There's no code of ethics. They don't believe in anything, and the things that we grew up on, it doesn't apply to the lifestyle that people live now. You know what I mean? Like snitching and being able to run. You could snitch right now and go down the block, go in the club and be that dude.
When Tekashi comes home, he's going to be super big. He'll probably be bigger artist than he ever was.
And that's ridiculous, man. That's sad.
Yeah, because back in the day, you wouldn't be that.
People don't care. These young dudes don't know the concept of, living by the code, man.
Yeah. Tekashi comes home in 30 days.
That's crazy, man.
It's kind of funny though.
That shit is real.
I don't condone what he did. It's just like it's a wild story. That's why it's funny. It's like wow.
Super,
and wow. So you called a lot on that story with Tekashi. Right when he came out, he was talking about being blood and everything, and J Hood was one of the first people to make a song about it.
Yeah, not only was I one of the first people to make a song about it, I was actually one of the first people to even speak on him. You know what I mean? Like when he said the first thing, about being the king of New York, I was the first person from New York to speak on that actually. And I'm like, you know what? I was explaining to people basically why he felt comfortable enough to say the things that he was saying, without retaliation from anybody. And I broke that down, and it was facts.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. So how do you feel about the whole situation? How it played out? Like, whose fault is it? Is it the 9 Trey guys for even trying to mess with a guy that was in a bodega with rainbow hair and trying to bring him in there? Or is it his fault?
I think
It's a hard one.
I think it's both of their faults because they both knew the type of people that they were dealing with. You know that you was dealing with gangsters, and the gangsters knew that they was dealing with a cornball nigga. So it's like both parties knew.
Do you think they should have protected him more, or do you think he should have just be quiet?
Protected him how? From who? Themselves?
Okay, so like
who they protecting them from? Them themselves?
No, from like if the feds pick everybody up, should they take the charges away from him and say he had nothing to do with this?
How they gonna do that when he the ones who helping the fucking government out?
I know.
He telling on them trying to get his shit cut.
Well, he didn't cooperate till right before everyone got picked up. I remember that.
I mean, my thing is this too. Everybody trying to justify.
The driver was doing it. I'm not trying to justify it.
Now,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. That I have seen speaking about the situation. You have a lot of people out there that trying to justify him ratting like, yo, well, they was fucking this girl. They was robbing them. Yo, listen, man, check this out. If they was fucking this girl, you don't take that out on a nigga that's fucking your girl. You take that out on you speak to your girl about that because she is the one who's allowing herself to be fucked and to be manipulated by these guys. That's not their fault. You know what I mean? And secondly, if they didn't know that you was a soft nigga and if they respected you, they wouldn't be doing half the shit that they was doing to you at that time. You know what I mean? They were taking that bread from you.
How about this? You shouldn't have let them around your girl because you weren't about that life anyways, and you knew, you keep that stuff separate.
That's a pound fact.
Yeah, because I remember. Well, I won't go into that story, but
yeah, a lot.
I got done dirty when I was 18.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, you have to. It's the sooner it happens to you, the better you can. You know now. You learn from that lesson. You move forward in life, and you're like, that ain't gonna happen again.
Right.
Now, don't forget that there was also a super snitch called CEO Chris involved in the situation. He was the one supplying the fentanyl. So even before Tekashi was around, he hooked up with Mel. And he was supplying them, and he was already working with the feds because he got picked up in another organization, another case prior to that. So they kept the flow going. Said, yeah. They were all going to go to jail anyways.
Yeah, they supposed to.
Tekashi just added a lot of charges. Tekashi added a lot of charges, and he actually took down multiple more people with him. So like Kuda B, Harv, New, all those guys because of Tekashi.
They were supposed to shelter him and cover him and make sure that he couldn't be touched because that's their source of income. I mean, he's the breadwinner.
But they were all fighting over him. They had no unity in their own organization.
Yeah, I mean that will fuck your whole shit up.
Yeah, Nuke was fighting with Chadi, I think. They were all fighting with each other over who's going to get a piece of Tekashi.
Hey.
It's crazy. There was no organization to that plan.
Usually that's how it happens when an organization breaks down. I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened to them, but it happens.
I don't think it was a tight-knit organization from the beginning.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, we don't know. We just know what we're hearing in the case.
Right.
What was your reaction when you heard Jim Jones's wiretap phone call? We all heard that.
Homie wildin'. Hey, wildin' out there.
I mean, to his credit, he didn't know he was being taped, obviously,
I mean, yeah, obviously.
He thought he was talking to his friend. So everyone that's saying that he was cooperating, remember 50 put that thing out reacting to it like, oh, Jim Jones is cooperating. He wasn't. He wasn't. That's just 50 being a dick.
Yeah, he was, he was having a regular conversation with the homie on the jacket and all that, but still in all, man, like,
It's kind of reckless though.
yeah, reckless, exactly. That motherfucker's got to come up with better codes or some shit, cold words. That was too blatant, man.
Violated is a little too blatant.
Uh,
Oh man. Well, it's an interesting thing. Luckily, Jim Jones didn't get involved in that. They just tried to drag his name in it.
right.
Yeah, so that's good. He's home. And it's a shame that all these guys got so much time. I think they got way too much time. When you put in perspective that a cop in Dallas got 10 years for taking a guy out eating ice cream in his own house.
Facts. That's ridiculous. You could get more time for drugs and things like that than you would get for a murder.
And that's where justice reform needs to come in because that's crazy.
Makes no sense at all.